Hello students, I hope all of you are doing great. Welcome to your own channel Vedantu Science Olympiad. This is Basavaraj sir, your biology master teacher students. Welcome. Sabko students, good evening all of you. Now students, आपने title पढ़ा होगा, that is today we'll be learning about algae. Algae in general students, algae. Now students, first of all, I want all of you to close your eyes. Okay, I want everyone to close your eyes and try to think of algae. All of you students. Students, quickly let me know in the chat right now if I'm audible and visible to all of you students. Students, quickly let me know in the chat right now if I'm audible and visible to all of you students. Quickly, all of you. Quickly, students, all of you. If I'm audible and visible to all of you. Quickly, students, all of you. Students, जल्दी से बताओ if I'm audible and visible. All of you. I'm audible and visible, right? Students, perfect. Now, I want every single one of you to close your eyes. I want every single one of you to close your eyes and think of an algae. All of you. Think of an algae and tell me what comes to your mind right now. Students, start. All of you close your eyes. All of you close your eyes and think of an algae and tell me what do you see. Okay. Tell me which, students, first of all, tell me which color do you see? Anyone? Which color algae do you see, students? Which color algae? 90% students, 90% of you will think green color, है ना? सबको माइंड में ग्रीन कलर का स्ट्रक्चर आ रहा होगा अभी. ग्रीन कलर, slimy structure. All of you, yes or no? But students, what if I tell you algae can be colorful? Students, in this chapter, in this particular session, आज के सेशन में आपको मैं कलर algae दिखाऊंगा. कलर algae दिखाऊंगा. different shapes of algae दिखाऊंगा सबको. देखो students, algae. Now students, in this class, I will be showing you something called as, students, I will be showing you something called as, एक मिनट लोड होगा. Students, I will be showing you different types of algae. I will be showing you brown color algae. This is algae. This right here is also algae. This is called as brown algae, which belongs to Phaeophyceae. See, algae. Now students, what if I tell you we can eat algae also? Yes, we can eat. Some of the algae are edible. That is, we eat them as a food. Algae को हम खाते भी हैं. Now, which is that algae? So stay tuned till the very end to learn which algae we can eat also. Now, students, now what if I tell you this also is an algae? देख रहे हैं students, कितना beautiful है ना? कितना beautiful सा diagram है. This also is an algae. Students, this also is an algae. This is an algae. So when I say algae, it doesn't mean only green color, slimy structure. Algae is much more than that. Students, so in this class, I will be teaching you from scratch. If you do not know anything, आपको कुछ भी नहीं पता, algae क्या होता है, algae के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं पता ना, चिंता मत करो. Because in this video, from top to bottom, zero to advanced, you will be learning about algae, students. Friends, before I start the video, I want every single one of you to quickly smash the like button and also at the same time, quickly subscribe to our channel if you're new to the session, students, if you're new to the video. Now, students, now first let's understand and compare. Let's understand and compare right now. ये है हमारा algae, ये है हमारा typical plant. Now students, जल्दी से बताओ comment section में, एक typical plant और एक algae में कुछ similarities है? Students, anyone? Can you find any similarity between this typical plant and this algae right now? Okay. One similarity I can tell is both of them are green color. Students, all of you can agree on that? Yes or no? So both of them are what? Green color. Okay, green color है. पर यहाँ पर देखो स्टूडेंट, यहाँ पर देखो, इसके पास हमारे रूट्स हैं यहाँ पर. इसके पास यहाँ पर स्टूडेंट्स रूट्स हैं, यहाँ पर एक लंबा सा स्टेम है, उसके बाद यहाँ पर लीफ है, यहाँ पर फ्लावर है, फ्रूट है. स्टूडेंट्स, कैन यू सी द फ्लावर, फ्रूट, रूट, शूट, स्टेम, लीफ? Here, you can't. Then why do we call it an algae? Why do we call algae a plant then, students? Why do we call algae a plant? See, this is a plant, this also is a plant. Then why do we call both of them as plants when they do not look like each other? ये हमारा और ये हमारा. The reason is very simple. The reason is very simple because this organism right here, it is multicellular in nature, it is eukaryotic in nature, and also it has a pigment inside. The pigment is called as chlorophyll. इसके पास chlorophyll है. It is multicellular. Some of them are unicellular, right? Apart from that, here we can also get a pigment called as chlorophyll. वो तीनों की तीनों यहाँ पर मिलते हैं. That is why it is called as a plant. That's why algae is called as a plant, students. Plant. Okay. Now students, I want all of you to understand. आपको मैंने बताया यहाँ पर रूट नहीं है, लीफ नहीं है, फ्रूट नहीं है, फ्लावर नहीं है, सीड नहीं है. They are still called as plants. They're still called as plants. Now students, if you look at the classification of plant, students आपको पता है ना, first of all there is something called as 5 kingdom classification. Students, can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me what is 5 kingdom classification? In 5 kingdom classification, students, what do we have? We have your kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. हमारे पास 5 तरह के किंगडम्स है ना. इसमें प्लांट किंगडम एक है. प्लांट किंगडम को अगर हम डिवाइड करेंगे तो वी हैव क्रिप्टोग्राम्स एंड फेनेरोग्राम्स. डिफरेंस क्या है स्टूडेंट्स? डिफरेंस है कि फेनेरोग्राम्स के अंदर ना सीड्स मिलते हैं, सीड्स. यहां पर सीड्स मिलते हैं, सीड्स. और वही क्रिप्टोग्राम्स के अंदर सीड्स नहीं मिलते. देयर आर नो सीड्स हियर. नाउ अंडर क्रिप्टोग्राम्स वी हैव थैलोफाइटा, ब्रायोफाइटा एंड टेरिडोफाइटा. So under cryptograms, where we do not find seed at all, we have thallophyta, bryophyta and pteridophyta. Now इसका मतलब क्या है स्टूडेंट्स? मतलब क्या है? Thallophyta is a group here where organisms will not have any root, will not have any shoot, will not have any leaf, fruit, anything. That is called as thallophyta. Bryophyta has bryophytes, pteridophytes have pteridophytes. They have pteridophytes. और फेनेरोग्राम्स के अंदर जिम्नोस्पर्म्स, एंजियोस्पर्म्स. जिम्नोस्पर्म्स आपको पता है ना, जिम्नोस्पर्म्स आर द लार्ज ट्रीज व्हिच डज नॉट हैव एनी फ्रूट. देयर इज नो फ्रूट हियर, ओनली सीड. नो फ्रूट हियर, ओनली सीड इज सीन हियर, ओनली सीड इज सीन हियर. नाउ इन द केस ऑफ एंजियोस्पर्म्स वी कैन सी फ्रूट हियर. अपना मैंगो है ना, अपना मैंगो प्लांट यहीं पर है फ्रूट. दैट इज एंजियोस्पर्म्स, जिम्नोस्पर्म्स. टेरिडोफाइट्स, ब्रायोफाइट्स यहां पर मिलेंगे. और स्टूडेंट्स थैलोफाइट के अंदर एल्गे मिलेगा. बट इट वाज ऑलवेज नॉट द केस. पहले जमाने में ना थैलोफाइट के अंदर 3 तरह के ऑर्गेनिजम्स मिलते थे. 3 तरह के स्टूडेंट्स. पहले जमाने में थैलोफाइटा है स्टूडेंट्स. थैलोफाइटा हैड फंजाई, एल्गे एंड लाइकन. उसके बाद हमने देखा कि वेट अ मिनट, इसका कुछ बेट नहीं रहा. यहां पर फीचर्स अलग अलग हैं. तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ पता है? ये यहां से ये फंजाई निकल के बाहर निकाल दिया, इसको लाइकन्स को बाहर निकाल दिया. और अभी करेंटली थैलोफाइटा के अंदर एक ही एक ऑर्गेनिज्म है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एल्गे. So students, if someone asks you algae belongs to which group, you can tell thallophyta. But students, ये thallophyta का मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of thallus? Students, what is the meaning of thallus? The meaning of thallus is very simple students. The meaning of thallus is that यहां पर जो organisms है ना, उसके पास रूट नहीं है, शूट नहीं है, लीफ नहीं है. अगर रूट, शूट और लीफ एक ऑर्गेनिज्म के पास नहीं है, such a body, such a plant body is called as what? Plant body is called as thallus. It is called as thallus. So thallus, students, what is thallus? Thallus is a plant body. देखा हमारा रूट, हमारा स्टेम है ना, स्टेम, लीफ, ये सब, that is plant body. Thallus is also plant body where there is no stem, there is no root, there is no leaf. Students, एक एग्जांपल दिखाता हूं. देखो स्टूडेंट्स, एक एग्जांपल दिखाता हूं आपको, एक एग्जांपल दिखाता हूं. देखो स्टूडेंट्स, यहां पर देखो, ये सारे के सारे एग्जांपल्स हैं हमारे एल्गे के, है ना अब्बू? है ना, ये सारे के सारे एग्जांपल्स हैं एल्गे के. स्टूडेंट्स, यहां पर देखो आपको, कैन यू सी एनीवेयर हियर रूट, स्टेम और लीफ? स्टूडेंट्स जल्दी से बताओ कमेंट सेक्शन में. स्टूडेंट्स जल्दी से बताओ कमेंट सेक्शन में. राइट, ऑल्सो लाइक द वीडियो, ऑल ऑफ यू लाइक द वीडियो क्विकली. यहां पर स्टेम, रूट, लीफ दिख रहा है? यहां पर नहीं दिख रहा. स्टूडेंट्स, such a plant body there is no stem, there is no root, there is no leaf. This plant body is called as thallus. It is called as thallus plant body, क्योंकि यहां पर root, stem, leaf कुछ नहीं है. Okay, that is called as thallus here. That is called as thallus. Okay, so thallus is what? It is a plant body which does not have any root, shoot or leaf. That is called as a thallus. Students, समझ आया सबको? Students, समझ आया सबको ये वाला बात? Students, all of you understood what is the thallus? All of you understood what is the thallus? So thallus is a plant body, no root, no leaf, and no stem. Okay? Next student, that is called as the thallus now. Now students, if you look at the characters of an algae, now students, characters of an algae is very simple. They belong to kingdom Plantae. Now students, जल्दी से बताओ, if they belong to kingdom Plantae, है ना, kingdom Plantae में है, will they be prokaryotic cell or will they be eukaryotic cell? Students, आप सबको पता है कि the only group which has the prokaryotic cell is kingdom Monera. The only kingdom with prokaryotic cell is kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera को छोड़ के ना सबके अंदर यूकैरियोटिक सेल मिलता है, आपको पता है. सो ऑब्वियसली यहां पर भी हमारे पास यूकैरियोटिक सेल मिलेगा. सो देयर इज यूकैरियोटिक सेल मींस व्हाट? possess a well defined nucleus covered with nuclear membrane मिलेगा, membrane bound organelles मिलेंगे यहां पर. So they are eukaryotic in nature. Okay. तो यहां पर it is a plant cell. आपको पता है प्लांट सेल के अंदर प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन है ना, इस प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन के बाहर की तरफ स्टूडेंट्स, इस प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन के बाहर की तरफ एक वॉल होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड सेल वॉल. सेल वॉल मिलेगा यहां पर, सेल वॉल मिलेगा यहां पर. इट कैन बी यूनी और मल्टी. देयर आर सम algae like Chlamydomonas and Chlorella. Chlamydomonas and Chlorella are unicellular, but majority 99% of the algae are multicellular. So most of them are multicellular. Now they can be found in colony, filamentous. Students, इसका एग्जांपल पता है किसी को? किसी को पता है एग्जांपल ऑफ filamentous algae? स्टूडेंट देखा किसी ने? इस तरह से होता है. Anyone has seen? Students, which is algae? Spirogyra. Spirogyra is a filamentous algae. Filamentous algae. And also heterotrichous. The meaning of heterotrichous is that some algae are erect, some algae are prostrate. Okay. Now students, they are also photosynthetic in nature. Why? Because they have chlorophyll. Obviously they have chlorophyll. So they are photosynthetic in nature. Okay. Predominantly aquatic in nature, students. Predominantly aquatic in nature. The meaning of aquatic is that they are found in your fresh water or marine water. पानी में मिलते हैं students. The plant body is thalloid. Students, what is the meaning of thalloid? Lack true plant body with no root, no leaf, no stem. That is called as thalloid plant body. So thalloid, photosynthetic, aquatic in nature, uni or multi, cell wall, eukaryotic. All of these are called as what? Properties of an algae. Students, doubt jaldi comment section में पूछो students. Students, ask your doubts, all of you. Ask your doubts with respect to the general structure of an algae. Students, any doubt here? Any doubt here, students? Any doubt here? Any doubt here? No doubt? Perfect. Perfect. Now, students. Now, how do you think algae are classified? Anyone who can tell me? Try it. Students, try. How do you think algae are classified? हम algae को किस प्रकार से classify कर सकते हैं? Students, can we classify them? Can we classify algae based on the location, students? Location. All of you, tell me the answer. Can we classify algae based on location? नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि algae, students, algae is present everywhere. Okay, even you can't, students, algae is present almost everywhere. It can be present in water, it can be present on rock, present on soil, present on wood, present as lichen in symbiotic association, present on the sloth bear also, present on the sloth bear. So they are present almost everywhere. They are present almost everywhere. So we cannot classify algae. नहीं हो सकता students. Algae classify नहीं हो सकता based on the location. Students, now can we classify algae? Can we classify algae based on shape? Students, can we classify algae based on shape and size? Anyone who can try? Anyone, students, who can tell the answer? Anyone? Can we classify algae based on the shape and size? नहीं हो सकता. Because, students, algae will differ. Some algae are unicellular. Some algae are unicellular in nature. Some algae are in a colony. This is volvox. This is volvox here. Volvox is the algae which is found in a colony. like a colony. Some algae are filamentous like Spirogyra, Some algae are present as a leafy structure in the water. That is called as alva. This is called as alva. Okay. Alva here as a leafy structure. So you cannot classify. बहुत सारे shapes हैं यहाँ पर, बहुत सारे shapes and sizes हैं. So हम उसको classify नहीं कर सकते based on shape and size पे. Students, we cannot classify them based on shape and size. So we cannot classify them based on habitat. We cannot classify based on shape and size. But students, do all of you think, can we classify algae based on nutrition? Anyone? Students, do you think we can classify algae based on nutrition now? Nutrition पे कर सकते हैं क्या? नहीं कर सकते स्टूडेंट्स. क्यों? क्योंकि यहां पर सिर्फ एक ही तरह का न्यूट्रिशन मिलता है. That is photosynthetic in nature, because it is a plant. It has chlorophyll. So we cannot classify based on nutrition also. We cannot classify based on nutrition, students. Okay. Next question. Can we classify algae based on reproduction now, students? Okay, this one is very easy. Think. This one is very easy. Try to think, students. See, we cannot classify based on habitat. We cannot classify based on the size and shape. We cannot classify based on nutrition. But can we classify based on reproduction? नहीं हो सकता. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पर हर तरह का रिप्रोडक्शन यहाँ पर वेजिटेटिव, सेक्सुअल, एसेक्सुअल, तीनों की तीनों यहाँ पर है. So we cannot classify them again based on reproduction, students. There is both sexual, asexual, everything is present, students. There is vegetative also. Binary fission is seen here. Binary fission. There is fragmentation by Spirogyra seen here, students. Spirogyra. Okay. So, zoospore formation. Zoospore formation is the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. So, there is vegetative, there is asexual, there is sexual. तीनों की तीनों यहाँ पर है. देखो, sexual, asexual और स्टूडेंट्स सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन थोड़ा स्पेशल है यहाँ पर. सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन थोड़ा स्पेशल है यहाँ पर क्योंकि यहाँ पर ना सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में तीन तरह के यहाँ पर. सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में यहाँ पर तीन तरह के हैं अंडर सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. Now, first step is called as isogamy, second is called as anisogamy, or third is called as oogamy. Difference समझो. The difference always is in the size of the gametes. Okay, so sexual reproduction के अंदर there are three types of sexual reproduction: iso, aniso, and oogamy. Now, students, tell me, does anyone know what is the meaning of iso? Iso, anyone? Isodiametric, same diameter. Yes or no? So here, iso means what? Iso means same. Gamy means the gametes. So in isogamy, both gametes are same size. Same size gametes. Same size gametes are present, students. Present here. Okay. Now, students, what about the meaning of anisogamy? Students, यहाँ पर दोनों gamete, are they same? They're not same here. So in the case of anisogamy, both the gametes look different from each other. They look different from each other. Now, what is oogamy? Students, all of you understand. Oogamy hai na? Oogamy is like aniso, but with a small twist. What is the small twist, students? The small twist is that this oogamy is just like in the case of humans. The large gamete, students, the large gamete here. The large gamete is generally female gamete. Large gamete is female gamete and it is non-motile. While the small gamete is generally male gamete and it is going to be motile. क्योंकि स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पर दिख रहा है ये वाला फ्लैजेला दिख रहा है, यहाँ पर फ्लैजेला दिख रहा है. Okay, so oogamy is just like humans. Egg is very large, non-motile. Sperm is motile, very small. So male is small and motile gamete here. Non-motile female gamete is large here. Just like in the case of humans. Now these are three different types of sexual reproduction in algae. Okay, so तीनों यहाँ पर sexual. देख लो, sexual भी है यहाँ पर. एक मिनट, ये वाला देखो. वेजिटेटिव है फ्रैगमेंटेशन, बाइनरी फिशन. asexual पे है स्पोर फॉर्मेशन और सेक्सुअल के अंदर 3 तरह के हैं, आइसो, एनाइसो एंड ऊगैमी। स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पर एक स्टूडेंट, sir, this is for basics. This is basics class. This is very basics class I'm teaching you. Gaurang, basics class. But this is basics only. This is basics only. But I will not be teaching you this again in the Akar batch also. Okay. Okay. This is basics to advanced only because I'll be teaching. If you attend one class of basic to advanced of mine on algae, आपको basic से advanced तक सब कुछ, you will know everything about algae. Very simple class, student. Very simple class. Very simple classes. If you want to know what is algae, attend this class. बेसिक से एडवांस तक सब कुछ पढ़ाऊंगा मैं algae के बारे में यहाँ पर, ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स। हमने क्या पढ़ा अब तक? हमने पढ़ा हैबिटेट स्टूडेंट्स। स्टूडेंट्स, आई नो दिव्यांशु, oh same, I thought you changed this thing. Students, first we learned the habitat. They're present in aquatic, they're present in your soil, present on the sloth bear, lichen, present on rock. We also learned algae are eukaryotic in nature. Algae can be unicellular, multicellular. Algae are also what? Photosynthetic in nature. Yes or no? Yes or no, students? Okay, students. Okay. नहीं, मैं पूरा का पूरा प्लांट किंगडम इसमें पढ़ा दूंगा अभी। पूरा का पूरा प्लांट किंगडम है ना। नेक्स्ट क्लास आई विल टेक टेरिडोफाइट्स, नेक्स्ट क्लास आई विल टेक ब्रायोफाइट्स हियर, नेक्स्ट आफ्टर दैट आई विल टेक टेरिडोफाइट्स, उसके बाद जिम्नोस्पर्म्स। इस तरह से ना बेसिक टू एडवांस पढ़ाऊंगा एक टॉपिक यहाँ पर मैं। स्टूडेंट्स, एक एक टॉपिक बेसिक टू एडवांस पढ़ाएंगे यहाँ पर। नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, नाउ स्टूडेंट्स इतना समझ आया सबको? आइसो, एनाइसो, ऊगैमी, 3 तरह के यहाँ पर, ठीक है। नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ पर थोड़े एग्जांपल्स है, याद रखना पड़ेगा, पूछ लेंगे तो, ठीक है। नाउ हियर देयर इज, if these two gametes are motile, same gametes, if they're motile, Ulothrix is an example. If the two gametes are non-motile, Spirogyra is an example. Yes, Barophytes are amphibians of plant kingdom. Next class I'll teach you Bryophytes. ठीक है? Next class I'll teach you Bryophytes in B2A. ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स? बहुत easy है Bryophytes. Okay. Now, Anisogamy, Eudorina is an example. Oogamy, Volvox and Fucus is an example, students. Now students, all of you, can we classify algae based on habitat? Students, can we classify algae based on habitat? Can we classify algae based on size and shape? Can we classify algae based on nutrition? We cannot. Can we classify algae based on reproduction? Then how do we classify, students? How do you classify algae? Is there a proper way to classify algae, students? Yes, there is. Students, you can classify algae based on the pigment present here, based on the pigment present in the entire algae. It is red pigment, green pigment or brown pigment. So based on the pigment present in the algae, they can be classified. Students, we have three main classes of algae. One is called as chlorophyceae, second is called as phaeophyceae, third is called as rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae algae are obviously green color, also called as green algae. Phaeophyceae is called as brown algae. Rhodophyceae is called as red algae. So हम इस क्लास के अंदर हर एक तरह का algae, हर एक class of algae we will study to the advanced level. Students, all of you ready? Students, ready all of you? Students, all of you ready? Yes or no? Students, ready all of you? Starting students, I'll teach you. Students, starting I'll teach you something called as general characters. Then we'll go to one by one. Okay. Now for example, how is the cell wall, students? See, these are my notes I've already written for all of you. Right. First of all of you need to understand the cell wall is special here because the cell wall is made up of different types of substances. Now, students, if this is the plasma membrane here, plasma membrane, है ना, यहाँ पर है plasma membrane, students, right? इस plasma membrane के बाहर की तरफ ना cell wall है. Now, I want all of you to understand, इस cell wall के बाहर की तरफ, there is something called as hydrocolloidal substance. Now, इसका मतलब क्या है, students? इसका मतलब क्या है? Okay. Okay, students, I want all of you to understand what is the meaning of hydrocolloidal substance. Now, students, all of you, when your skin will dry, students, what do you do? Students, जल्दी से बताओ. When your skin dries, what do you do, students? All of you. Students, when your skin dries, what do you do? Apply vaccine, Vaseline All of you apply Vaseline, yes or no? All of you also do what? All of you apply moisturizer, yes or no, students? Yes or no? Do you apply or not? When the skin becomes very dry, you apply moisturizer. Now try to imagine this hydrocolloidal substance is like moisturizer. It is like moisturizer to the algae. Now how do understand? There is something called as high tide and low tide. All of you are aware, because of moon's gravity, there is high tide and low tides. देखा होगा ना समुद्र के किनारे की तरफ. Now whenever there is a low tide, it means there is very less water. Whenever there is less water, the algae becomes exposed to the sunlight. देखो पूरा ऊपर से सनलाइट आ रहा है और algae पूरा एक्सपोज हो गया अभी. algae पूरा का पूरा एक्सपोज हो गया अभी. Now students, algae will dry now. Yes. Algae can dry and die also. Students, yes or no? Algae can dry and die also. It can die very easily. So now what do? You prevent the dryness. Now how can you prevent, friends? How can you prevent? With the help of hydrocolloidal substance. So algae के cell wall के बाहर की तरफ, friends, algae के cell wall है ना, उसके बाहर की तरफ there is something called as hydrocolloidal substance. It will hold water, just like moisturizer. Okay, it will hold water. It will hold water. Okay, it will hold the water, and it will make sure the algae doesn't dry out. Okay, students, algae doesn't dry out. Students, now what is cell wall made up of? In the case of green algae, cellulose plus pectin. Brown algae, cellulose plus algin. Algin is your hydrocolloidal substance. Red algae, we have cellulose plus carrageen plus polysulfated esters plus pectin also, plus pectin. So all of this is the part of your red algae cell wall. They are made up of that. So in the case of green algae, brown algae, red algae, cell wall is made up of different types of substances. Okay, that's why they have varieties of algae. Okay, students. Now next is called as flagella. Students, all of you need to understand flagella will help in what? Motility. Now students, in the case of green algae, this is how the flagella looks like. Flagella looks like. Here in the case of green algae, flagella is equal. Both are equal here. It is apical. Now what is the meaning of apical? See, this is the apex. यहाँ से flagella निकल के बाहर आएगा. Flagella निकल के बाहर आएगा. This is called as apex. So ये algae के apex है ना, flagella निकल के आएगा. Okay, flagella निकल के आएगा. Gametes में और organism में भी. Students, there are 2 to 8 can be seen flagella here, students. Now, what about in the case of brown algae, students? In the case of brown algae, the flagella are unequal, एक छोटा एक बड़ा, and these two flagella are present laterally. एक छोटा सा यहाँ पर और एक लंबा सा flagella यहाँ पर. So small, large. That is called as lateral flagella in the case of brown algae. Students, एक बहुत ही famous question है, वो बहुत बार NEET में भी पूछा है वाला. What type of flagella do you see in the case of red algae? Students, anyone students? Answer board के ऊपर है. Friends, answer board के ऊपर है. In the case of red algae, we do not see any flagella. Flagella is absent. Flagella is completely absent in the case of red algae. Completely absent. Red algae, completely. यहाँ पर flagella ही नहीं है इसके पास. Flagella ही नहीं है यहाँ पर. That is in the case of red algae. Okay. So there is always the question, because so if there is no flagella here, the gametes are non-motile. Simple as that. Okay, students. Now this is the main thing. Pigment. What makes each algae different? So in the case of green algae, we have chlorophyll A. See, chlorophyll A common है. Chlorophyll A common है. यहाँ पर B C D, A B C D, right? So A B C D. That's how you can remember. यहाँ पर स्टूडेंट समझो, brown algae के अंदर there is something called as fucoxanthin. Okay, fucoxanthin is the pigment which gives the brown color to the brown algae. इसी fucoxanthin से ना वो brown color algae brown दिख रहा है. अगर इस fucoxanthin का concentration बहुत बढ़ गया तो dark brown. fucoxanthin का concentration बहुत कम हो गया, olive green बन जाएगा. Okay, depending upon the concentration of this pigment, things can change. Students, now in the case of red algae, we have phycoerythrin. Phycoerythrin is the red color pigment. So this pigment will give you the red color to the red algae. तो पिगमेंट्स बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, एग्जामिनेशन में पिगमेंट्स पूछते हैं बहुत बार स्टूडेंट्स. नाउ स्टोरेज, हाउ इज द फूड स्टोर्ड हियर स्टूडेंट्स? फूड इज स्टोर्ड in the case of green algae, starch, oil droplets. In the case of brown algae, the food is stored as a complex structure, mannitol and laminarin. Students, अगर फर्स्ट टाइम पढ़ रहे हो थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन होगा, but this is now advanced level concept now, advanced level. Okay, mannitol and laminarin. In the case of red algae, the food is stored as फ्लोरोडियन स्टार्च. ये फ्लोरोडियन स्टार्च टूट के एनर्जी देगा. यहां पर mannitol और laminarin टूट के ना एनर्जी देंगे. The food is stored as these structures here. Yeah, starch, all of you know starch. The food is stored as starch here. Mannitol and laminarin, Floridian starch. And this Floridian starch has a structure similar to amylopectin and glycogen. Now, students, do you know algae has gone to space? Students, how many of you know? Students, how many of you knew algae has gone to space? Anyone? Do you know algae space bhi kya hai? Algae in space mission. Yes, that is called as chlorella, students. This is called as chlorella. Chlorella is an algae which has been taken to space for food. Because it is very rich in nutrition, Okay, very rich in nutrition here. Chlorella, students. They can be used to algal bioreactors. They can use, students, green algae. Okay, they are ancestors to organisms, most recent algae. Okay, students. So the green algae can be unicellular. Chlamydomonas is an example. This is an example of green algae. Example of green algae. They can be colonial like this. Example of colonial algae. Volvox is an example. This is the example of algae. Volvox. This is the Volvox. It can be filamentous. दिख रहा है यहाँ पर लंबा लंबा filament. Spirogyra and Urothrix. Filamentous algae. देखिए स्टूडेंट्स, आगे दिख रहा है. देखिए दिखा स्टूडेंट्स ये वाला जहां पर पानी बहुत देर तक रुक जाएगा ना, पानी वाटर भी स्टैग्नेट, यहां पर उसके पानी के सरफेस के ऊपर एक पॉन्ड पे ना ऊपर की तरफ algae ग्रो करता रहता है. दिस कॉल्ड algal bloom. देखा होगा स्टूडेंट्स, देखा होगा ग्रीन algae. ये सारा का सारा ग्रीन algae है स्टूडेंट्स, सारा का सारा ग्रीन algae यहां पर. See this. Now these green algae students will have a structure called as pyrenoids, which help in storage of protein. Pyrenoids will help in storage of protein also. Pyrenoids, which help in storage of protein actually. Pyrenoids. Let's see this. Now, students, मेरे कॉलेज के टाइम पे एक टेस्ट था, ठीक है, प्रैक्टिकल टेस्ट था हमारे पास. My teacher used to come and he used to give me एक नाले के पानी से they used to bring one collection of algae and they used to give it to me. And after they give me a bunch of algae like this much fat, lot of algae is mixed in it, and they'll ask me to identify which algae is which. Now how can we identify? So we can identify based on color. If it is brown color, brown algae, green color, green algae, है ना. पर green algae में बहुत सारे algae हैं. Then how do you identify every single green algae? Anyone who can tell me? Let's say मेरे को एक दिया है, एक पूरा का पूरा algae का पूरा एक झुंड दिया है मेरे को, algae का green algae झुंड दिया है. उस green algae के पूरे slime structure से ना मेरे को एक एक करके algae को निकालना है बाहर. Now how can I identify different types of algae? By looking at the chloroplast. तो दिख रहा है हर एक algae के अंदर chloroplast different होता है. chloroplast स्टूडेंट सबको पता है ना what is chloroplast? Chloroplast is the structure which has chlorophyll. देखो, it can be cup shaped, discoid, C shaped, rib shaped, stellate, spiral or reticulate. So chloroplast can vary depending upon algae to algae. So this is like thumbprint. Our thumbprint, we can identify people with the help of thumbprint. No, same way. We have different types of your chloroplast, students. Chloroplast. So यहाँ पर students सारा information यहीं पर दे दिया मैंने about your green algae. Habitat, cell wall, inner cellulose, outer pectose, pigments, food stored as pyrenoids, starch, members, reproduction. Reproduction तीनों के तीनों यहाँ पर. Vegetative, asexual, sexual, तीनों यहाँ पर. This is the entire thing about your green algae, students. अब students दिखाता हूं आपको मैं something called as giant kelps. Students, आप कितने बच्चों ने अवतार मूवी देखा है? स्टूडेंट्स, अवतार मूवी, अवतार द वे ऑफ वाटर. अगर आपने अवतार मूवी देखा है ना, उस मूवी के अंदर पानी के अंदर ना पानी के अंदर बहुत सारे लंबे लंबे पौधे होते हैं इस तरह के, तुमने देखा है पानी के अंदर ना बहुत लंबे लंबे प्लांट्स होते हैं. These are called as algae. These are called as algae. And students, remember, these algae are not tiny. They are not tiny. These algae, students, these algae belong to your giant kelps. Giant kelps. They are almost 100-meter tall. Students, they are 100-meter tall. Very long, tall. So algae can be unicellular. Algae can be very tiny, slimy and everything. But algae can also be 100-meter tall algae. समझ रहे हो, बहुत लंबे लंबे तरह के algae होते हैं, लंबे लंबे algae होते हैं स्टूडेंट्स. देखो ये that belongs to brown algae. This is one of the example. This is called as sargassum. Sargassum is a brown algae. Sargassum. It's called ectocarpus. It is also a brown algae. Ectocarpus. Dictyota, brown algae. Sargassum, brown algae. Fucus is a brown algae students. Brown algae. तो सारा इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट ब्राउन algae यहाँ पर दे दिया मैंने, सारा का सारा इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ पर दे दिया मैंने. मराइन सेलोज एंड आल्जिन. आल्जिन स्टूडेंट रिमेंबर, आल्जिन इज द हाइड्रोकोलॉइड. आल्जिन इज द हाइड्रोकोलॉइड प्रेजेंट ऑन द आउटसाइड. मॉइस्चराइजर वही यहाँ पर. फ्यूकोसैंथिन इज द पिगमेंट व्हिच गिव्स ब्राउन कलर. देन फूड स्टोर्ड मैंटल एंड लैमिनारिन. एग्जांपल्स, और तीनों तरह के रिप्रोडक्शन यहाँ पर है, तीनों तरह के रिप्रोडक्शन यहाँ पर मिलते हैं यहाँ पर किस पे, ब्राउन algae के अंदर. नो स्टूडेंट्स, नाउ अब स्टूडेंट्स रेड algae देखो, रेड algae. स्टूडेंट्स कितने लोगों ने देखा है सुशी? देखा है सुशी कभी? कि जापानीज पीपल खाते हैं वाला, जापानीज पीपल ये सुशी करके खाते हैं. किसी ने देखा है स्टूडेंट्स? किसी ने देखा है सुशी रोल्स? स्टूडेंट्स कभी देखा है क्या सुशी रोल्स? देखा है स्टूडेंट? दीस आर कॉल्ड एज सुशी रोल्स. और इस सुशी रोल के ऊपर जो बाहर की तरफ है ना ये लेयर, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज नोरी शीट. This is called as outside is called as nori sheet. ठीक है, देखो outside is called nori sheet. ये जो nori sheet है ना, it is made up of algae. It is made up of algae. So algae आप खाते हो, आपने algae खाया भी होगा. If you have eaten sushi, you have eaten algae. Very simple student, very simple. Okay, that is your brown algae students. फोटो में देखा है क्या? ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स, खा के देखो एक बार, कभी खा के भी देखो स्टूडेंट्स. ठीक है. Now students, these are red algae. Red algae is the most ancient algae. Ancient algae. स्टूडेंट देखो एग्जांपल, पॉलीसाइफोनिया. स्टूडेंट्स देख रहे हो कितना ब्यूटीफुल है algae. स्टूडेंट्स कभी आपने कभी सोचा था कि algae इतना ब्यूटीफुल भी हो सकता है क्या? Like did you ever think algae can be so beautiful? How beautiful this algae is. Polysiphonia. This is your Gracilaria. Gracilaria. Students, Gracilaria is used to make agar agar. इस agar agar से ना we use it in microbiology. Agar agar is used to make ice cream. It is used to make jellies. Okay students, students मैंने खाया है, ट्राई किया स्टूडेंट्स, ट्राई किया मैंने. मैं एक जापानीज इवेंट पे गया था और मैंने कॉमिक कॉन में भी खाया है, बहुत बार खाया है. टेस्ट ठीक ही है, उतना स्पेशल भी नहीं है. ये बेसिकली स्टूडेंट्स क्या पता है, बाहर नोरी शीट है और अंदर की तरफ चावल है, उबले हुए चावल, ठीक है, बॉइल्ड राइस, और उसके बॉइल्ड राइस के बीचों बीच के अंदर ना कुछ सब्जी को डाल दिया. सब्जी है, बेसिकली एक रोल है वो, बेसिकली एक रोल है, राइस रोल है वो, उतना ही. राइस का रोल बनाते हैं, उसको काट के दे देते हैं बाद में, और उसको हम सोया सॉस में डिप करके खाते हैं, सोया सॉस में डिप करके. ओके, नाउ स्टूडेंट्स अंडरस्टैंड Gracilaria and Gelidium. These are two algae, Gracilaria and Gelidium. ये दो algae है ना, with the help of these two algae we can use them to make something called as agar agar, and also to make something called as your ice cream and jellies में use होता है ये, to make ice cream and jellies. So agar agar is used in microbiology experiments. To grow bacteria we need medium, we need medium, and that medium is made from agar agar. Now here I have all the information again, all the information here students. here दिख रहा है यहाँ पर, मराइन सेल्लोस. स्टूडेंट यहाँ पे लिखो सेल्लोस प्लस कराजीन प्लस पॉलीसल्फेट एस्टर्स प्लस पेक्टिन. Phycoerythrin is the pigment, Floridian starch is the food storage. Members are here. And स्टूडेंट यहाँ पर देख रहे हो रिप्रोडक्शन सेक्सुअल में सिर्फ oogamia, यहाँ पर oogamia, और सब कुछ नॉन मोटाइल. क्यों पता है स्टूडेंट्स? क्योंकि यहाँ पर gametes are non-motile. Flagella is absent here students. Flagella is absent. Okay. स्टूडेंट नहीं देखा स्टूडेंट, मैं नहीं देखा मैंने। स्टूडेंट आपने देखा मूवी? तो तैयार नहीं देखा स्टूडेंट, नहीं देखा मैंने। स्टूडेंट्स में आई डोंट वॉच मूवीज, आई डोंट वॉच एनी मूवीज जनरली। कभी कभी देखता हूँ मूवीज। रिसेंटली मैंने मूवी देखा था, फैंटास्टिक फोर देखा था मैंने। फैंटास्टिक फोर अमेजिंग मूवी, इट वाज गुड। उससे पहले मैंने सुपरमैन देखा था, सुपरमैन देखा था मैंने। तो वही दो दो मूवी देखा मैंने, लास्ट 2 मूवीज, फैंटास्टिक फोर एंड सुपरमैन। स्टूडेंट्स नाउ यहाँ पर भी सारा सारा इंफॉर्मेशन देखो, सारा सारा इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ पर भी है। क्लोरोफाइसी, फियोफाइसी, फ्लोरोफाइसी, ग्रीन, ब्राउन, रेड, ठीक है। Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, fucoxanthin, picoerythrin is the pigment here. Pigment दिखा students. Starch, mannitol, laminarin, fluorine starch, cellulose, cellulose, cellulose and algin, cellulose plus cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters. Flagella is absent here. Equal and lateral, unequal and lateral, equal, apical and 2 to 8. देखो students, यहाँ पर apical, okay. Then habitat. Students, समझो कि अभी यहां से ना हर एक प्लांट के अंदर algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm, they have something called as dominant phase, right? Dominant phase. Now what is the dominant phase students? Predominant phase. Let's say प्लांट का लाइफ साइकिल एक साल का है। Let's say students, प्लांट का 1 साल का लाइफ स्पैन है। इसमें लेट्स से 70% और 30% में डिवाइड करेंगे अभी हम। प्लांट 70% अगर कोई एक फेस में है ना, that becomes dominant phase. और algae और bryophyte के अंदर gametophyte is the dominant phase, gametophyte, और sporophyte is the not so dominant, that is always not so dominant phase. I should remember these are always haploid, sporophyte is diploid. अगर यहाँ पर sporophyte और gametophyte उतना रोल नहीं है यहाँ पर, you will understand more about sporophyte and gametophyte in bryophytes. जब मैं वो पढ़ाऊंगा ना आपको स्पोरोफाइट, गैमेटोफाइट, वहां पर तो वहां पर थोड़ा यूज आएगा, पर यहां पर उतना यूज नहीं है। जस्ट रिमेंबर राइट नाउ algae आर हैप्लॉइड इन जनरल। जो आप algae देखते हो ना बाहर अपने आंख से, algae in the soil, algae on the water, they are generally haploid in nature because they are gametophytic in nature, always gametophytic students. Now economic importance आपको पता है students में already. Glycerin and gelatin is used to make agar agar. Sargassum laminaria porphyra is used to as a food. Chlorella is used in space पे देखते हैं हम. Certain marine algae can also produce hydrocolloidal substance, algin and carrageen. फ्रेंड्स इसको छोड़ के ना फ्रेंड्स आपको पता है more than 50% of CO2 fixation, that is हमको सांस लेने के लिए मिलती है ना ऑक्सीजन, 50% of the oxygen comes from algae. हम दे रहे, इतना भाव दे रहे अपने प्लांट्स को ना, ट्रीज को, लंबे लंबे ट्रीज को इतना भाव दे रहे, पर उतना नहीं है उनपे। जिस लंबे लंबे ट्रीज है ना उतना ऑक्सीजन नहीं देते। मोर नंबर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन इज गिवन बाय algae. Okay, so next time give respect to algae. Next time give respect to algae because algae produces a lot of oxygen, students, a lot of oxygen. Okay, students. So with that, I am done for students. I hope all of you understood algae. कुछ idea आया होगा. Now what you need to do is go read some book on algae. थोड़ा पढ़ो थोड़ा. Then any doubt anywhere, you can come back and ask me in the comment section, and I'll reply to all your comments, students. All of you, before you go, please smash the like button, and thank you so much, students. And bye bye, all of you, and take care. Bye bye, students.